Okay, Chief, we're recording. Meeting is yours.
Thank you very much, Carl. Welcome to the October meeting of the Fire Service Membership Council. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm going to ask Carl to go ahead and call the roll.
Okay, thank you, Chief Metz. I will start by saying that I have acknowledged you. Chief Reed.
Here.
Chief Brian Adams. Chief Adams. Rick Boisford. Rick, are you on? Okay, Chief Buxton.
I am here.
Rick just got on.
Okay, I got Rick as well then. Thanks, Tim. Chief Cowan. No, Marshall Desrochers is not going to be able to join us. He had something urgent come up today. Tim Deal.
I'm here.
Good. Chief Grzinski. Chief Hyde.
Present.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Andy King. Chief Lane, John Lane.
I'm here.
Thank you, sir. Kelly Nicolello.
I'm here.
Gotcha. Marshall Coy Porter.
Here, Carl, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Chief Swarthout, I got you. Chief Wassom.
I'm here, Carl.
And Chief Gary West. Okay, I haven't seen. I'm going to run this list one more time because I know people are coming on. Chief Adams. Chief Cowan. Chief Grzinski. Chief King. Chief West. All right, Chief Metz, it looks like we do have a quorum and you are all set to start the meeting.
Thank you very much, Carl. I don't have an agenda that I can view in front of me, so I'm assuming we're jumping straight into presentation, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Well, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank everybody for joining us this month. We have a different presentation program than what we may be used to, but I think it's a very important one and an important fire service partner that I wanted to bring and introduce to the Fire Service Membership Council, and that is the Firefighter Cancer Support Network. Brian Frieders, retired fire chief out of Pasadena, California, is a very good friend of mine, and he has since relocated to Nashville, or just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, but he is still serving as president and has been actively involved in growing the Cancer Support Network for a number of years. And we think that there's a timely connection between their mission and what we do with the Membership Council and ICC as a whole in establishing great codes, in this case, codes that take into consideration cancer-causing issues, not just for firefighters, but for the general public as well. They've done a lot of research and have a lot of information to share. I extended an invitation to Chief Readers, and unfortunately today is the same day as their Cancer Support Network Board of Directors meeting. So Brian is in Dallas with his team there, but he felt that Captain Scott Jennie from the Laguna Beach Fire Department out here in California would be a great individual to come and introduce us to the mission of the Cancer Support Network. Scott serves as the state representative for FCSN representing California. And I'd like to welcome him to this group and let him go ahead and give us his presentation and let us know what they're all about. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for having me. As the Firefighter Cancer Support Network is near and dear to my heart, as we support colleagues that are diagnosed with cancer. Cancer in the fire service, is a absolute epidemic. And I'm trying to talk as I'm trying to get my presentation up. 1 second.
Yeah, we can see it. So,
You can see it?
yep, we can see your presentation.
Okay, great.
I think you just have to put it into presentation mode and you'll be good to go.
Okay, can you see just the first slide?
Yeah, and all we've got is your presenter view now. So if you could maybe switch that over to slideshow, that would do it.
Okay.
There you go.
About taking action against cancer in the fire service and what we do for the Firefighter Cancer Support Network, how we support firefighters and their family members who are diagnosed with cancer. Again, my name is Scott Jennie. I'm the California State Director for the Firefighter Cancer Support Network. This is my contact information. If you have any firefighters or family members that you know in the fire service that do need support from the Cancer Support Network, my contact info is there, and I will share a PDF file of this presentation with Carl, and he can get it out to each one of you. So cancer is the most dangerous, under-recognized threat to the health and safety of our nation's firefighters, and currently it's the #1 cause of the line of duty deaths in the fire service. In 2013, the Firefighter Cancer Support Network did some research with various fire chiefs, firefighters, researchers, doctors, etc., and they developed what's called a white paper, because the scope of the occupational cancer problem was getting worse and worse. So as we look at all the scientific data and everything that's been going on, in general, 40% of the general population in our nation will be diagnosed with some form of cancer, according to the National Cancer Institute. However, with the science that's been done with Iafc, CDC, LeMasters, and a number of other scientific peer-reviewed journals that have been done, firefighters have a 9% higher risk of being diagnosed with cancer and a 14% higher mortality rate than that of the general population. And you put it in perspective, 67% of the firefighters' names that have put on the International Association of Firefighters Fallen Firefighter Memorial Wall have been from occupational cancer from 2002 to 2020. It has been steadily going up every single year. In 2002, it was about 47%. Up to now, it's right around 75% of the firefighters who are dying of occupational cancer. So, and these are just the ones that are being reported to the IAFF. There's a number of others that are probably not being reported. So this is definitely an epidemic in the fire service. But as we see this occurring, we start asking ourselves why. Because of prevention efforts, building codes, etc., our fire incidents have gone down, but our occupational cancer rates are going up. So we ask ourselves why that is occurring. Well, as we in the fire service know, between natural rooms and synthetic rooms, so natural rooms being of 30, 40 years ago, and synthetic rooms with all the building materials that we're using today. So it makes our modern residential fires have more in common with a hazmat incident. Our fires are reaching flashover much sooner. They're burning hotter and much faster than ever, as outlined in the UL video there. And that's because of, thermoplastics, synthetic materials, man-made building materials, our open concept homes that we have now. Everything is contributing to this problem. All the halogenated foams, etc., and all the building materials that we're using nowadays. I think there's think last I researched, there's probably approximately 84,000 different building materials, and in the building industry today, if not more. And as we look around, just our offices, our homes, you look around, you look at the amount of plastics, the amount of materials that are man-made in our own homes, in our offices, etc. So it's contributing more to the cancer problem than ever before. And we're getting it through absorbing it through our skin, inhaling it into our lungs, and ingesting it into our body. Many scientific studies have repeatedly proven that numerous types of cancer occur in us in the fire service at higher rates as compared to the general population. You can see the numbers there on the left, and those were done in the Doug Daniels report for CDC and NIOSH. Those were the rates that came up and the type of cancers that we're coming down with more so than the general public. So it is an epidemic of this diabolical disease that's affecting firefighters and their families. You know, many firefighters are getting cancer in very rare cancers at a young age. Cancers that we normally don't see in young people, cancers that we normally see in people who smoke, and it's alarming. So the key studies that have been done, NIOSH, Lemasters did a meta-analysis of over 50 different studies. Nordic countries did a study, and the Jalilian meta-analysis, another, where they looked at a number of different studies, all came up with the same issues, the causal correlation of cancer in the fire service. And this isn't something that is just happening in our country. It's happening worldwide. And it's because our building industry has changed. And we in the fire service need to change along that as well. There's operations that we need to change, how we approach fires and etc. And then ultimately, things we can do, such as our newer fire stations or retrofitting our older fire stations. You know, it's recommended now, and I'm sure you're all very aware of this, that our new fire stations should be built to reduce exposures and contaminants in the fire station. They should be built into zones. Red zone is where your carcinogens coming back from fires may be. That's where the cleaning of our equipment takes place. There's different HVAC systems that control the air from the living quarters at a higher pressure, so no contaminants enter the living areas of the fire station. And as we transition into areas of moderate hazard, it's yellow, and that's where we're able to shower after a fire. We're able to come into our living quarters after that approach. In addition, you know, a lot of fire stations are building workout rooms or putting workout rooms in their apparatus bays. That's not good. It's not recommended. We should pull the ice machines, drinking water fountains out of the apparatus bay. You know, diesel particulates are a known group 1 carcinogens, and that was classified by the International Agency on the Research of Cancer, that we need to have diesel capture systems in every single fire station in our nation and in the world. It's so important. Diesel particulates are finer than a blade of your hair, and you can't see them. You know, there's operations and steps for cleaning our apparatus bay, not using leaf blowers, not using compressed airs to blow out our fire stations, only using dry and wet mops. Again, having storage not next to a fire engine where diesel particulates are getting embedded on our personal protective equipment. So these are things to think about, how we need to retrofit our existing fire stations if possible, or when we build new fire stations, we need to build our fire stations with these type of issues in mind. These are some of the ways that we need to protect our firefighters. You know, the PPE needs to be stored in its own room with its own HVAC system. Our cleaning areas need to be away from the living areas. If we have extractors to clean our PPE, again, it's in the red zone and it's away from our living areas. So we're not exposing our firefighters needlessly. Again, as I said, you know, the IRC designated diesel engine exhaust as carcinogenic to humans. It's a group 1 known carcinogen. We advocate that every single fire station needs to have some type of capture system to capture that diesel exhaust. And those systems need to be maintained. They need to be outlined in your, if you don't have them, get them. You need to make sure that you have a program to maintain them and a capital program to install them in your fire stations. And we always recommend do not run the engines at idle or do apparatus checkouts with the engine running in the fire station. As I said, diesel exhaust is a known carcinogen linked to many, many cancers. So the role of the Firefighter Cancer Support Network, the Cancer Support Network was started in 2005, and we're a nonprofit 501c3. Pretty much the entire network, we're all volunteers. And we give back to the fire service, to firefighters and their family members who are diagnosed with cancer. We also deliver extensive firefighter cancer awareness and prevention training nationwide. Any agency, anybody that asks, any fire department that asks for our presentation, we will provide that free of charge. We also support firefighters with what's called a signature Fcsn Toolbox. It's free of charge to firefighters and their family members who are diagnosed with cancer. The toolbox is simply a big box that has file folders to organize all your different paperwork, your EOBs, your doctor visits, etc. And it goes into you so you can organize your paperwork. There's a folder in there that you can take to your doctor and transfer the paperwork from all the different doctors, because when one is diagnosed with cancer, they may have multiple doctors. One individual that I talked to said that they had 15 different doctors they were going to for their cancer diagnosis. So it's a way to organize your paperwork. It's a way to keep, there's a business card folder in there that you can keep all your doctor's business cards in there. But ideally there is also what we call the Firefighter Guide to Survivorship. It's a manual in there. And that manual is the most important thing in that toolbox. And it answers a lot of the questions and discusses the causal correlation of cancer in the fire service and things that you need to think about in the event you're ever diagnosed with cancer. It's a fantastic publication that we're super proud of. In addition, we also provide free of charge a badge-to-badge peer support program to any fire service members and their immediate families who've been diagnosed with cancer. And what that is, that's a firefighter who's gone through the same or similar cancer as you're going through. No two cancers are ever the same. And as I said, we also provide this for spouses and family members as well. Many of our mentors that come back to us are individuals who have gone through our support, and they felt it was very beneficial, and they come back to us as a mentor. So, and again, we also deliver, like I said, cancer prevention training every day. We will give this program to anybody that asks for it. We man booths at conferences, pass out literature, and discuss the prevention methods that we do, that we recommend. We have a white paper that I talked about earlier. I highly suggest you download the white paper from the Cancer Support Network. It's available as a PDF online. It's a fantastic publication that goes through the scope of the problem and solutions, primarily the steps that we as firefighters can take to reduce our exposures. Doing simple things, wearing sunscreen, limiting our alcohol intake, stopping tobacco products, eating a proper diet that is away from processed foods and is high in vegetables and fruits, and just not the red meat and meat potatoes type diet that we shouldn't be eating every day. Wearing our SCBA from the start of fire suppression through overhaul. What does that cost? We have to go fill our bottle again. We shouldn't be taking our breathing apparatus off during overhaul, because that's when everything is the most toxic. Doing a gross decontamination after we come out of a fire on air, where we're being scrubbed down our PPE with soap and water, and that reduces the amount of polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons by 85% off our PPE. Using wet wipes to clean our skin. that reduces the polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons by 54%. You know, doing annual medical exams. We have a form that we take to our doctor. And these are just some of the steps that we advocate in the fire service, the steps that we need to take to protect ourselves. No PPE should ever enter the living areas of any fire station. Those days are pretty much over, but if it's happening in any departments around you, that needs to stop. We don't need to needlessly expose our firefighters. You know, we have Fcsn trained instructors in nearly every state across Canada, all the way to Ireland and Australia. And we provide training at some of the biggest conferences, such as the FDIC. In addition, we have collaborated with the International Association of Firefighters regarding a cancer prevention program that you can take online through their website if you're an IAFF member. In addition to that, we also have collaborated with the International Association of Firefighters and have dedicated January as the Firefighter Cancer Awareness Month in our nation. And what occurs during that time is we provide a number of materials and resources, and we ask the fire service in general to go over everything during the month and make that part of your training program so that you're looking at all the different ways that we can prevent and reduce our exposures. So we have a long career. I can tell you, taking what we call requests for assistance or submissions from firefighters who are diagnosed with cancer, it's an epidemic and it's awful. I don't want to see any of our brothers and sisters come down with cancer during their career. You know, Commissioner Finn, retired from the Boston Fire Department, said it perfectly. You don't want to do 30 years of service in your firehouse to only get 2 years in your beach house when you retire. So we need to take those steps to protect ourselves. You know, we're in our 16th year now, and we have operations in over 44 states and up into parts of Canada now, and Ireland and Australia. Mike DeBron, he was an LA County firefighter. He's the one who created the Firefighter Cancer Support Network because at age 39, he was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, and he was given a death sentence. He was told he only had a year to live. Thankfully, he had a great medical team, and he is cancer-free today, and he's in remission, and he's retired. He just recently retired from the LA County Fire Department. But what he saw was the need to create a network where firefighters could support each other and where firefighters could help each other out, because he saw the number of diagnoses that were occurring in his own agency. And again, that has grown into the network that we see today. So in closing, you know, if you have any firefighters that do receive a diagnosis, please call our toll-free number, or you can go to our website, and we will, with that one click of a send button, we'll rally and we'll be able to contact you probably within 24 hours. And we'll get that toolbox out and that mentor coming to you, because no one needs to go through a cancer diagnosis alone. And that's the role of the Firefighter Cancer Support Network. We need to make a difference, and we need to ensure that no one goes through this alone in the fire service. With that being said, I'd gladly take any questions, and I want to thank you for having the Firefighter Cancer Support Network be a part of this, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Scott. I do have a question that I'll start off with. Has the network been involved at all or done any review of fire or building code proposals for the purposes of having an influence in things that you feel would negatively impact or cause cancer, or things that you would love to see changed in our fire and building codes to support the mission?
You know, we do have a research and outreach vice president within the organization. His name is Russell Osgood, and that's part of his role, is to collaborate with the building industry and collaborate with others regarding building codes and things we can do to reduce our exposures. I don't know specifically exactly what he's done currently because he's in a new, he just got put in this position. But I know that we also do have a health and wellness advisory council, which is comprised of a number of scientific researchers that all collaborate and are putting stuff together regarding occupational cancer prevention in the fire service, primarily through a firefighter cohort study that's being done right now with the University of Arizona, the University of Miami, and we also have researchers from CDC and NIOSH that also collaborate with us as well. And additionally, the International Association of Firefighters, who do have, you know, ties to the building codes and things of that nature.
Perfect, thank you. Do we have any other
Randy,
questions for Scott? Maybe Carl can
Yep.
field the hands there.
Yep, I'll work through them. So first one up was Crystal Stajeski from CAL FIRE.
Hi.
Hello. I was listening to your presentation. I'm looking at your website now, and I found the white paper under research and development. Are there any studies or prevention guidelines for firefighters working in the wildland?
Yes, that firefighter cohort study that I discussed, that is being done with Dr. Jeffrey Burgess out of the University of Arizona, Sarah Jenke, and as well as Dr. Alberto Caban Martinez with the University of Miami, the Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center. They are looking at the wildland arena. So you're with CAL FIRE. CAL FIRE, I mean, you know, I'm here in California too. So when we go out on these wildland fires, a lot of people think that it's only brush, but as you know, and I know, what are people dumping out there? And when we have these type of these campaign fires that we're seeing here in California, you know, firefighters aren't protected. We can't do the gross decontamination. We're out there sometimes spiking out for 14 days, and depending on our operational periods, and we're being exposed. But there's steps we can do to reduce our exposures. You know, I think personally, my opinion on, I sat on a committee with the Orange County Fire Chiefs and Training Officers Group, and we came up with an annex prevention plan for the wildland, just taking some simple steps, staying out of the smoke, not having contaminated PP in the cab, you know, making sure that our base camp is not in a smoky area, not always easy to do. Not running our diesel engines all night, every day in the base camp, which to me is ludicrous because we're all being exposed to carcinogens that way as well. You know, making sure that if we have multiple sets of PPE, so we can always put on a clean set or press it into service as a clean set. And we have sometimes at base camps we have methodologies for washing our PPE. However, it's not always timely, and it's not always beneficial depending on what our assignments are. You know, you look at all the recent wildfires that we've had where numerous, you know, thousands of homes are being burnt to the ground. And, you know, you look at the smoke and all that, in addition to the wildland smoke, in addition to whatever may be, if there's drilling or petroleum products, or like, you know, in the case of the Thomas fire, we had an individual come back where a month later he came back from the Thomas fire, did a light workout, and he had soot pouring out of his entire body, out of his skin. And that's because of the petroleum products and fracking that was going on in that area where they were fighting the fire. And he got super sick. So these are things that we need to do better in the fire services when it comes to wildland firefighting. We need to come up with a different approach. We need to come up with a better way of managing our health and safety when it comes to the wildland arena.
Thank you. Yeah, there's also need to be that behavioral shift. As you know, a lot of the firefighters that are out there are, you know, a little bit rugged and, you know, don't want to wear like even an N95, you know. So
Yeah,
thank you.
And that's a culture change that needs to occur. There needs to be a culture change in the organization, and where we are all collaborating with labor management, floor personnel, government leaders. We need to collaborate together towards a common goal. If you look at the Boston Fire Department Take No Smoke program that they've done, the Boston Fire Department had I think a cancer rate of close to 70 or 75% of their personnel were being diagnosed with cancer. It was alarming. And Commissioner Finn took that on and really changed the culture of that organization, because he approached it with a labor and management and government collaboration. And they really changed how Boston Fire Department does business, and they've done a great job. So I highly advise, if you look at their Take No Smoke campaign, they did a fantastic job and continue to do so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next one with his hand up is Steve Swarthout. Steve, go ahead.
Thank you, Carl. Thanks for the presentation, Scott. That was great. My question is related to fire investigators. And do you guys do work with fire investigators? As we all know, after the fire, there's just as much off-gassing sometimes as there is, during the event. And oftentimes doing a fire investigation with full SCBA can be very difficult to do. So I don't know if you guys have, looked at any statistics with that and are working with fire investigators on what they can do better to protect themselves.
We certainly have. Fire investigators are the group that at times that we've noticed that they kind of got left out years ago. And they're the ones who are doing the dig out. They're the ones who are doing probably being exposed even more. I mean, you think about when you're doing a dig out, like I said, the particulates of combustion, just smoke, or when you're disturbing the fire scene, those particulates are finer than, they're like less than a micron in size. So they're finer than a one blade of hair. So investigators definitely need to take better care of themselves. I know I can't remember the group, the International Association of Arson Investigators, I believe. They did their own paper, and it's very good. It could be better. The respiratory protection and the same gross decontamination, or what they call preliminary exposure reduction. Now, they need to take fire cause investigators need to take those very same steps to protect themselves. Obviously, the SCBA is the gold standard of respiratory protection. As you say, it's not always easy, but I tell you, holding that pole with that chemo bag might be a little tougher. So maybe something that we need to look at. You need to look at the respiratory protection. We need to look at the cleanliness of our bodies when we come out. We need to not rely on our 6 gas detectors to tell us that it's okay to take our breathing apparatus off. It's not okay, because those aren't testing for particulates of carcinogens. They're testing for other gases, the toxic twins. We need to do a better job with our fire cause investigators, where we wait 40 minutes till the fire's out. Once the fire has been knocked down, we can wait 40 minutes, and you can see the amount of chemicals go down dramatically. And there's been a scientific study on that. So we need to take different steps with our fire cause investigators to do our investigation. We need to not bring our dirty, contaminated PPE in the cab of our vehicles. All we're doing is we're off-gassing that stuff, and then we're getting a secondary or tertiary exposure. So these are some of the things that we need to think about. We need to make sure they shower within the hour. They take those same steps of clean body, clean air, and clean cab, of making sure that they're following the same steps as the suppression people are. And we need to change our operations in the fire service, where we're committing personnel to manning a preliminary exposure reduction hose line, and scrubbing down our fire cause investigators, just as we do with our suppression personnel. And we need to ensure that our fire cause investigators have the same respiratory protection, if possible, to be able to do their investigation.
Yeah, thank you. I agree with you. The respiratory protection is the most difficult piece of that. And there's other options out there, and people need to look at that probably a little bit closer. Thank you.
That was all the hands that I had up. Anybody else?
Perfect. Thank you, Carl. Well, thank you very much for the presentation, Scott. This is I've committed to Brian that we'll be able to continue this discussion, in future months there, and try to bring the Cancer Support Network more into the mix of what we do with the Membership Council. So we look forward to working with you guys in the future, but thank you for coming today.
Fantastic. Thank you for having me. You guys all have a great day.
Thank you. Okay, Carl, back to you.
All right, Randy, sorry, I was just getting off mute. It looks like the next item on the agenda is going to be opening remarks from the chair, shared by both yourself and Chief Reed, kicking off with the first agenda item being the letter of resignation from you, Chief Metz.
Thank you, Carl. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm driving through a little dead zone here off the Pacific Ocean. So yes, I this week did submit a formal letter of resignation for my position, not just as chair, but on the governing committee. And I did that in conjunction with my election to the ICC Board of Directors. Unfortunately, we're not able to serve on the membership council and serve as a board member at the same time. But I do want to thank all of the members for the past 5 years that I've had to learn and grow with the membership council. It's been an honor to serve as your chair. I think we've done a lot of great things together, and I know that the leadership will continue to move things forward. You'll still see me. I will not be serving as your liaison as a board member. I actually will be liaisoning with the building membership council, but there is a new board member that's been assigned. I'll let him introduce himself in a little bit. But I just wanted to thank Carl for all of his support. Christine and I could not have done and led this group without Carl's support and direction. And I especially want to thank Christine for everything that she's done to assist me in the role of chair. It has been just a great ride and a wonderful experience, and I look forward to working with you all in the years to come. So with that, my term and responsibilities as chair have now ceased. So thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Chief, thank you very much. I'm just going to jump in really quick because I'm sure the floodgates will open here. I wanted to be the first to publicly congratulate you in this forum for your election to the ICC board. That's a big undertaking. I'm sure lots of others will have more to say on that subject, but we'll miss you. We thank you very much for your contributions. And I say that from the ICC staff level, and I'll let the members kind of take it from here through Chief Reed.
Yeah, I'll just chime in for me, and then I'll open it up if anyone else on the call would like to make any comments. On behalf of the FSMC, Randy, we thank you for your years of service. I know you were juggling a lot in everything that you do for the fire service, and but you never let the FSMC see it. You were always there. So thank you very much for having that dedication to the membership council. Personally, I appreciate all of your encouragement and guidance that you've given me over the last few years since I've been on FSMC, and it's greatly appreciated, and I've learned a lot from you. And I hope that we're able to continue taking what you have started and led us with, and continue that into the future. So that's just a quick note from me. I'd like to open it up if anyone else from the governing committee would like to say any comments.
Well, not one to be shy. This is Kelly for all of you out there, and just want to say thank you. You've done a great job, and as plans move forward, we'll see who else we might be able to get elected to the board. So good luck as a board member, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you very much, everybody.
And for the record, that was a newly installed honorary ICC member, Kelly Nicolello, affiliated with Underwriters Library.
Coy.
Thanks, Christine. Just Randy, thanks so much. It was great to see you in Pittsburgh, and best wishes on the board assignment, and appreciate you always keeping tabs on us as we move forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Coy.
Yeah, and this is Gary West, and I want to say thank you too. You were not only a good leader, but you were also a good second in command too for me. So you've served us very well, and I appreciate that, as well as all the other members of the group.
Thanks, Gary. It was a great opportunity to learn under you as well. Enough of this. Let's move on. Thank you very much to everybody. Again, this is not a goodbye. I'm just not an official member of the group anymore.
We'll hold you to that.
That's right.
Carl, would you like me to progress with the agenda?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so item 3B, where do we go from here? So just a couple of notes, because we're here in October and up until the end of the year, with Randy's vacating the chair position, I'll assume the role of chair until the end of the year. And we will do we're doing a temporary appointment to vice chair, which would be Mr. Tim Deal. So I'd like to welcome Tim in that vice chair role position for the end of the year. We will be having elections so that we can have a 2022 slate of chair and vice chair. So more to come a little bit later in the agenda. One other opportunity that could be beneficial for some of you if you're interested is the kind of loosely call it the mentee position. So a little background, when Gary and Randy were chair and vice chair, I joined their group as a mentee where I was included in meetings with the chairs and got some more exposure to the roles of the leadership of FSMC, and that paid dividends for me to understand how we do things at FSMC, and helped prepare me for what was my eventual election and position into vice chair. So if anyone is interested in learning a little bit more about this mentee position and what it means and what it takes, and if you have any interest in moving into the chair roles, please let me know. I'm happy to discuss my experience with you and kind of what it means with the intent of us always wanting to do succession training and planning for Fsmc so that we can keep the momentum that we've been building for the future. So please keep that in mind if you're interested. You can either call me or email me or in any way let me know what your interest is, and then we can go from there. Anybody have any questions about any of that I just said? Because I know we're kind of in an interim changes. Okay, so next agenda item 3C, is there any additions or corrections to the agenda? Hearing none, we will go ahead with this agenda. Item 3D, the approval of the minutes. We're going to table that until the November meeting. So we'll be doing both the the September and the October meeting minutes in November. So let's go down to item number 4, the work group updates. First update, first work group, member recruitment. I think it's Gary. I don't think Randy came on the call. So Gary?
Yes, I'm sorry. I have been traveling and I have not, we have not met. So I don't have any updates.
Understandable. I think that was kind of the consistent theme over the past month with our in-person meeting and everything going on, especially with October being Fire Prevention Month and things that everyone is doing back at home. So totally understand. Emerging issues and trends. Michael couldn't make it today, but Tim, he said that you would be giving an update in his absence.
Yes, that's correct. We did have a meeting just this past Monday where we reviewed the 21 goals, what we accomplished, and started to prepare the 22 goals, as well as our annual report for the council. So we're also going to try to establish a more monthly meeting agenda so we can be on a consistent basis like a lot of the other committees are. So we're moving forward, but we should have a lot more next month.
Great, thank you. The next is a public awareness work group. So a quick note, we've made an adjustment to our work group lead. I'm relinquishing my leader role in the work group, passing it on to Steve Swarthout. So thank you very much, Steve, for your interest in leading the work group. I'll still be around participating and attending the meetings, but I appreciate you taking the lead in running the work group. Just a couple of quick items. We did meet last week. The web page revisions that we were planning to do, we got word that ICC is looking at doing some perhaps larger revisions to the website. So, so we're going to take a pause on kind of our revisions, see what some items come out with that, and then we'll be able to work forward with what we were interested in doing. So more to come. We're just going to take a pause on it for the moment. We're also looking in the possibility of having the FSMC have a LinkedIn account. We feel that this is another avenue that we can get messages out and encourage membership and impart information to people through the business network arena through LinkedIn. So our work group is working with Carl for more options and designs and so forth. So more to come about that. And then we're also working on our 2022 goals. So we will be talking more about that as well next month. So Steve, did you have anything else that I missed?
No, thank you very much for introducing me, and I'm looking forward to working with the team and see if we can carry on your great work.
Great, thanks, Steve. All right, training and education, Mark.
Thanks, Chief, and good afternoon, everybody. Just a couple updates. We met a couple of weeks ago. We meet on the first Wednesday of the month at 11 a.m. Central. So our next meeting will be on November the 3rd. So anyone's welcome and encouraged to join us if you're interested in training and education. But just a few updates. We've been maintaining a kind of a list of upcoming educational opportunities, seminars, conferences that the Fire Service Membership Council would have an interest in. So just a few of those coming up. Probably our next one that I have is going to be the Vision 2020 Symposium in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. That's in February of next year. There is still an active call for proposals if you want. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a different one. I'll get to that in a second. But the Vision 2020 is coming up. The National Fire Sprinkler Association conference that we were lined up to have some classes offered at this fall has been rescheduled to next spring. I believe that's going to be in April, but we're waiting for details on that, and we'll continue to push the 3 courses forward that the membership council had prepared for that. Also next spring is the Iafc Community Risk Reduction Leadership Conference. That's going to be up in Canada in, I'm not sure of the month, but that's next spring up in Canada. That is the one that still has an open call for proposals. I sent some emails out to the membership a couple of weeks ago just to reach out if anyone had any ideas for proposed training that we could take to some of these groups. And at this time, that's the only one that's still open. So if you do have an idea to present at the leadership conference and it's something that we could tie into what we do in the membership council, please reach out to me and we'll see what we can push forward. So otherwise, I think everything else on our list that we're tracking is much farther out into the summer and fall. So I'll share those at a later date. And otherwise, just encourage you to reach out if you'd like to join our group. We're a small but mighty group, and we'll be working on our goals and annual report in the next coming weeks, and hope to continue accomplishing more next year. That's all I've got, Chief.
Great, thank you, Mark. Okay, so the next agenda item is report from officers. I'd like to officially welcome our new board liaison, Director Sayers. So welcome, and like to turn it over to you if you have any comments for us.
Well, thank you very much, Christine. I'd like to start out first by just recognizing Randy Metz again and all the things that he has done for the Fire Service Membership Council, as well as Region 1, where I've gotten to know him really well. And a big welcome to the ICC Board of Directors. He's going to do a great job, and like you said, he's not going to go away. He'll hang around and haunt everybody. A little bit about me for those of you who don't know me. I've been in building services since about 1995. Prior to that, I was a building designer. My lone experience in the fire service was 2 summers with Forest Service back in, I'm going to give away my age here, but it was 79 and 80. So it's been a while. But, you know, I'm looking forward to being able to serve on as a liaison to the Fsmc, I'll get that straight. You know, part of the reason things are kind of shook up is so that the board members can get integrated into things that they're not so familiar with, make us better board members. And so I ask you to be patient with me. If there's things that I don't understand as well, I will lean on Randy. I will lean on DC. Those folks are, you know, have a whole lot more information than I do. But anyway, I'm a commercial plans examiner in Clackamas County, Oregon. Been here for about 6 years, was a building official in 2 jurisdictions prior to that. We do have a board meeting coming up Monday, and that's going to be a virtual meeting. Some things we need to take care of before we have our winter meeting in December, which will be in Solvang, California, and that'll be December 9th through the 12th. Don't forget about the online governmental consensus vote that's going on right now. Make sure you get on there, sign in, and get your voting completed. And one other thing I wanted to mention is ICC Learn Live coming up November 15th through the 18th. Great opportunity for educational programs. And I will stop there because I think other things Carl will be able to speak to in a moment. But thank you, and I look forward to the coming year.
Great, thank you, Director Sayers, and again, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next report from the chair. I only have one item, and we kind of spoke about it a little bit in the work group reports. Of the work group annual reports are due to Carl beginning to mid-November. Is that a good enough time frame, Carl?
Yep, that is correct.
Okay, so so the annual reports talk about what our goals were, what our accomplishments were for and are for 2021, and then what our 2022 goals are. So if the work groups haven't been working on the goals so far, please keep that in mind, and get those into Carl when you're done. So not to put him
Christine,
on the spot. Yes.
Just really quick, November 12th is the day that items are due to Will Kaufman for the board meeting. So I'd like to be able to get those by, I'm sorry, it's November 12th. And I'd like to be able to get the inputs no later than November 10th, if I could, from all of the work group chairs.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Thanks. And I'll be sending that out as a reminder, but wanted to make sure we got that date right for the meeting today. Thanks.
Great. Okay, so the next item is report from the vice chair. Not to put him on the spot, but Tim, if you have anything else that you'd like to mention today?
No, I look forward to serving out and helping out with the continued mission of this membership council, as well as looking forward to the continuing the good work with the building membership or the building officials and the continuity work group. I'll be looking at trying to integrate that more and finding somebody to help out with that also, so we can continue that momentum that's been started, and just looking forward to continuing the mission.
Great, thank you. Carl, staff liaison report.
Hey, so I'm going to keep this short today, sitting in the airport, trying to get home. So I would just repeat what Director Sayer said, where we've got kind of the end of the public comments, and they've been wrapped up, and those have been, the Group A public comments have been posted. I believe the online governmental consensus vote runs through a date in November, but I don't have it in front of me. Jim, do you have that in front of you when the closing date is?
I believe it's the 1st, but I'm not certain.
Yeah, let me look for it here really quick, and I'll be able to tell everybody for sure. I had it right here in front of me. Here it is. The online governmental consensus vote is now through November 1st. You're correct. So that opened on the 15th, so you can go ahead and get your comments in there. I've been on the road the last couple of weeks, had some really good meetings with the emergency management side of the house, particularly at the National Emergency Management Association, which is all of your state directors of emergency management, last week in Cleveland. And then this week, I'm trying to get home from the International Association of Emergency Managers, which is all practitioners for the most part. And then city and some state directors are here occasionally as well. But both of those meetings were really great. And both of the meetings were addressed by FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell. Deanne had lots to say in both of her different remarks to the audiences regarding the building codes. And if you follow me at all on LinkedIn, I did publish those, but this is just a really great way of bringing both the fire service side and then the emergency management side, which I was kind of hired to expand into here together, all the benefit, the codes and the safety of the built environment. So, and all of the people that use it. So all of that's going really well. I plan to have much more information to be able to share next month when I'm not sitting here just trying to kind of ad hoc make up some things on the fly here in the airport to just keep pace. But thank you all for understanding. And again, thanks to Chief Metz. Congratulations to Chief Reed and to Tim Deal. I look forward to working with the both of you, and let me know what you need from me.
Great. Thank you, Carl.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have next agenda item, ongoing business. We don't have any items for that. We do have one under new business. The Fsmc nominating committee for the chair and vice chair. This is something that we need to stand up the nominating committee for the elections for the 2022 chair and vice chair positions. So I'm formally standing it up, and I will contact Michael Desrochers, who is the chair of the nominating committee, to stand that committee up. So if you are interested in being either the chair or vice chair, please submit your interest to Mike Desrochers and Carl. And we are going to, I think it is, well, we need to have the interest to them by the November meeting. Then they will compile all of those and they will come back at the December meeting with their nomination slate, and then we will do voting in December. So you have a little bit of time to think about it, but you need to express your interest to Carl and Michael. So that was all for the new business. So the next item is the next meeting is November 18th at 1:30 Eastern. So put it on your calendars right before Thanksgiving. And the next item is questions and comments from the audience. I do want to at least give an opportunity to Ed from BMC, since he's on the call, if he would like to say anything on behalf of BMC, and then we'll open it up to the group.
Yeah, thanks, Christine. I was going to jump in there on the questions and comments from the audience anyway. So if you didn't give me a chance, yeah, I was going to jump in there myself anyway. But yeah, the Building Membership Council, we just met yesterday, kind of in the same position you guys are in, where we were getting rid of our old chair and instilling in a new chair and vice chair and everything. So. We're also going to have a new liaison to the Fire Service Membership Council, so we probably won't have that before the November 18th meeting. So you'll probably see me again at that one, and I like coming to see what you guys are up to anyway. So I'm usually here as it is. But you know, I've been saying for a couple of years now just how much better the Building Membership Council is than the Fire Service Membership Council. And I think Randy jumping ship from you guys and coming over and being our liaison pretty much proves where his heart's at as well. So Randy, thanks, and can't wait to work with you. And it's been a pleasure working with you the last couple of years here as we collaborate the two groups. And Christine and Tim, yeah, I'm can't wait to work with you guys as well over the coming year here, and we'll do some great collaboration together and put out some stuff that's mutually beneficial to both of our memberships. And looking forward to that. That's all I got for you.
Great, thank you. Anyone else? Nothing? No one? Okay, if there are no comments or questions from the audience, anything else for the good of the order? All right, with that,
Christine?
yes.
Christine, yes, this is Jim Sayers. I did want to add that there was one other thing where I spent some time with the fire service. When I was a building official in Baker County, Oregon, fire station was right by the Baker City Hall. The great meals over there all the time. Those guys were great cooks.
Good to know.
Hey, Christine, one more quick one for me. Actually two. So the first one is a reminder about ICC Learn Live. Registration is open. It's mid-November. I think it's 16 or 15, 16, 17. It's the middle of that week. I don't have the dates right in front of me, but that's open. Lots of great programming there at a really great price. So take a look at that at ICC Learn Live. You can search that right off the front of our website, or there should be a banner for it, I believe, right now. And then the other piece of just kind of general information is that the next U.S. Fire Administrator has been named and will be sworn in on Monday. So for those of you who know Dr. Lori Moore Merrill, currently with the IPSDI Public Safety Data Institute, she is assuming the role of the United States Fire Administrator. We'll be working with her deputy, Chief Hoover, here starting on Monday when she's sworn in by the FEMA Administrator down in Washington, D.C. So that's the last one I've got.
Great, thank you.
Carl?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to also add, I believe that those members of the governing committee that registered and went to Pittsburgh should have gotten a registration link to register for Learn Live at no cost. So if you haven't done it before, you may want to look in your inbox, but I believe that did go out to all people that were registered for the conference back in Pittsburgh.
Good point.
Yeah,
Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, and I can vouch for it. It works. I've already registered and signed up using the code. So go ahead.
That's fantastic, and it was news to me too. So thanks for sharing that, Randy.
Great. Okay, anything else before I call for a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second? Thank you, Sam. Do we have a second?
Second.
Great, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. I appreciate your attendance. Looking forward to the great work ahead, and we will see you next month.
Thanks, Christine.
All right,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Christine.